So here's another opportunity for the Clippers to build upon their one-game winning streak, which is the season opener versus the Portland Trail Blazers, where they won 123 to 111. They won pretty convincingly. Kawhi and PG averaged 50. Well, they scored 50 points combined, and the offense looked pretty good, along with Russell Westbrook dishing out multiple assists and very few turnovers. It's definitely a good thing to see that. Definitely a good thing to know that that's something that Russ is really actually trying to get better at and work on. It definitely can make things a whole lot easier for the Clippers' life going forward if he can keep it down to a minimum or as minimal as possible with the turnovers. I was definitely impressed by that. So shout out Russell Westbrook on that one. Especially, and also, Kawhi and PG as well, based upon what they did points wise. And, going into this game here against Utah, it's going to be a tougher one, I think, than what some might think. I mean, it's on the road, Utah, high altitude. And, Utah got some very interesting pieces. Lauri Markkanen is a very good, big man. I think he's very versatile. He could shoot, he could step back. He's very aggressive going to the rim. And, the pieces that he has around him, is pretty good. Is pretty good as well. TNT, Taylor Horton-Tucker is one of those players, too, who can surprise you, with some surprising baskets. And he can have one of those breakout games possibly as well, too. So you definitely want to watch out for that specifically. But overall, I think the Clippers should find a way to win this game. I think it'll be close pretty much, I'd say the first three quarters. I just feel like the Clippers should find a way to push away a little bit in the fourth and maybe go up by 8 or 10 points. Now, sustaining that with this team is going to be tough because, like I said, the Utah, they seem to be a scrappy type team, a team that just won't go nowhere. You could be up by 15, 20 points, and then they're one of them teams where before you know it, in the fourth quarter, it's like down to 5 points. And, if they're rolling, if their stride is going, they can surprise you and beat you. And this is a road game for the Clippers. So, you definitely got to be careful when you're on the road because you're the opposing team coming into the other team's arena. And there's no fan base on your side. You just have to make sure you execute plays at a high level. And I do believe Ty Lue will have this team ready. I kind of see the same lineup that they had last game, with Robert Covington in the lineup, which I was very proud to see that. Shout out to him because he played some big minutes, and his defense and everything is very well respected, and him being able to knock down and stretch the floor is very well respected also. So I definitely think that's a key cog in the situation if they allow that, or if Ty Lue allows that same lineup to grace the floor the way he did last game versus the Trailblazers. So in this game here, I pretty much see Kawhi and PG doing about the same thing, about 50 points combined, give or take. Maybe a little bit more, depending on the situation of how close the game is in the fourth quarter, of how many more minutes they need to be used, and kind of just coast through the season as much as they can, and I think this is a good operation for them to do it. Good system. If they can keep it around that 30-minute mark every night for both of them, that'd be great. But of course, there's some games you just can't help it. You got to play more, you got to play longer. But of course, with the Clippers, health is always the key thing with them. So health-wise, you definitely want both players to be healthy, and you definitely want that long term. So if they can win games like these where they really are the better team and have more talent, if they can be up by 10, 15, maybe 20 points in the fourth quarter where they can sit Kawhi and PG and give them a little extra rest, that would be great. But hopefully they can build a lead to that point. But it's definitely not a guarantee. So if I had to predict, I'm going to predict this game pretty much going as, I'm going to say 116 to 108, Clippers. I think the Clippers could find a way to eke this win out. Like I said, I think it's going to be a little tougher than what people think. I think Utah is going to give them, all they can handle because Utah currently is 0-1. They haven't won their first game yet, and this is a home game for them, so they would definitely like to get their first win at home. Of course, they would prefer to get it prior to this game, but at home is home cooking the best way to do it in a lot of people's minds. So they're definitely going to come out firing, and they actually might come out and hit the Clippers in the mouth at first, and the Clippers is going to have to be able to adjust, which they can because they have more veterans, they have more talent, and they are the better team, and they got a better head coach to me as well. So I expect the Clippers to come out and, show what they're really made of. Even though that Utah might give them a little bit of a run, I can see, PG having about 25 and, Kawhi having about 25, 26, about the same, pretty much about the same as last game. And I don't think they're really going to require too much from them in that area as long as they get contribution from other players on their team. That's pretty much where it comes down to. Because in all essence, with this team here, the Clippers, their main thing is they got to, try to get through this regular season, play as many games as they can and build the continuity. But on top of that, the best thing that they can do and the best opportunity they have this year with the mentality that they're playing with to play all 82 games or as much as they can out the season is to try to grab that number 1 seed. It's going to be vital for them, I think. So, games like these, against the Utah Jazz, this is one of those situations where, you got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. If you want to be a great team or if you want to win championships, you have to do that because you have to solidify yourself as one of those contenders where you don't let games slip by very often that you should win because you're trying to accomplish a goal that other teams maybe not be able to, but can't accomplish because they don't have the talent you have on your team. So, games like this, you got to be ready, you got to be prepared, and you got to go out there and handle business and take care of teams like this. Put this team away early if you can. If they do come out, smack you in the mouth, regroup, You got Kawhi, you got PG, you got scorers, you got guys who plays defense. And just go out there and execute the plan at a high level, and you can find yourself winning this game on the road, which is a little bit of a test for you. But it's like, keep the streak going. You can go up to 2-0, and you can keep pushing forward because, like I said, the Clippers get the number 1 seed. It's going to open a lot of eyes, but it's also going to open theirs even more, and even give them even more insight trying to keep the number 1 seed throughout the season just because they made it to that point. Something they haven't done since they've been together these 5 years with Kawhi and PG. So it's a every game counts, every game definitely matters, especially for this team, because building that chemistry is something they really need to do anyway. So going at it with that mindset, hopefully that's what they're doing, which I believe they will, and hopefully that'll actually pan out all for the good, and we'll see what happens, in tonight's game. But here's my take on everything. Leave any comments, and we'll talk about it.